Okay, so this is going to be part two of me running the New York City Marathon at 62 years old. In part one, I basically described, the training that we did, my partner and I did, till race day, up until the race day. Now I'm going to describe the actual event itself, from the time the cannon went off to the time we finished at Central Park West. Man, this is something else. You start off in Staten Island, come across the Verrazano Bridge, onto Hamilton Parkway in Brooklyn, up Fourth Avenue, downtown Brooklyn, into Fort Greene, Bed-Stuy, some various areas in Brooklyn. I lived in Brooklyn for so many years, and I wasn't even aware that there were so many parts of Brooklyn. Then eventually onto the Kosciuszko Bridge into Queens, and then up the Queensboro Bridge. Boy, the Queensboro Bridge is a bridge. Man, it's like you're going across. Now I have some respect for people that there are many people that during the summer, they actually walk from Queens to Manhattan or vice versa, from Manhattan to Queens across the Queensboro Bridge. That is some exercise. We get to the top of the Queensboro Bridge and it's like, wow. No, your legs are like putty, and you got to go down into First Avenue in Manhattan, up First Avenue to the Willis Avenue Bridge into the Bronx, uh, uh, then on the Third Avenue Bridge back into Manhattan, onto Madison Avenue, then Fifth Avenue into Central Park. Oh my God, I never knew Central Park was that big. Trying to get, you enter Central Park somewhere around, I think it was 72nd Street on the east side, right? On the east side. And you got to go down all around to like the Columbus Circle, back up on the west side of Central Park, where you finish on the like Central Park West and 72nd Street. But anyhow, it must have felt like an hour after the cannon went off before we started moving, because there's like 50,000 people in the race. And, we're novices. We don't have any established time. So we're all the way in the back, which is fine. That's where we belong. Keep in mind, like I said, there are 50,000 people in the race. So by the time this cannon goes off, boom, and the people in the front, the Ethiopians, the Kenyans, and they all take off. By the time we take off, it's like, I don't know, half hour later, 45 minutes later, as people trickle on. As you get onto the Verrazano Bridge, because when you run into this race, this is the first Sunday in November. So it's kind of chilly. So what you do is you put on all these old layers of clothing. You don't want to put on, and believe me, I know the people that clean up that bridge after the race, they must get some nice, expensive running gear. Because I know a lot of people, they probably, as they strip the stuff off, they strip off some good clothing. But anyhow, I only had an old stuff. You rip the clothes off, and it's a suspension bridge, so you can feel the sway in the bridge as you go along. You eventually get off the bridge and you run to Fort Hamilton Parkway in Brooklyn, and that's when the race, because the Brooklynites are all along Fourth Avenue and they're cheering you, in that Brooklyn accent. Forget about it. Now, it begins to get real, very real along Fourth Avenue. We stop to take a pee. They got the portable places to take a pee. But this one place where we stop, there's like a restaurant or a bar right there, and it's open. So as we're waiting in line to take the pee, we can see they have the television screens. Here we are on Fourth Avenue in Brooklyn, and these darn Ethiopians and Kenyans are already in Manhattan. And my partner and I, we're like, oh my God. But anyhow, you know, bottom line is we go downtown Brooklyn, Fort Greene, Bed-Stuy, into Queens, across the Kosciuszko Bridge, over the Queensboro Bridge. And like I said, man, the Queensboro Bridge, that was a scary experience. I never knew that stuff was that high and steep. Because as you're running, as you begin, you know, remember, you see that curve when you look at it in the bridge, when you drive across the bridge, you don't realize it's that steep. But, you know, it's high and steep, and the fatigue really begins to set in because it's like climbing a mountain. So when you get to the top of the bridge, okay, and you're getting ready to go down on the other side, your legs feel like putty, okay? But you know, you get off the bridge, you're now on First Avenue, and it's, man, and you know, I can't make it. I'm gonna quit. But no, I can't quit. I can't quit. I mean, because what encouraged me is that, I mean, living in Brooklyn all my life, you know, most of my life, you realize, you know how long it takes just to drive on, well, you know, it's traffic, driving from Staten Island through Brooklyn into Manhattan. And here I am, I just ran it. I mean, the race is not over yet, but still, you know, I mean, that right there encourages me. So I'm proud of myself. I can't stop now. So, you know, we go up First Avenue, we struggle up First Avenue, we get to the Willis Avenue Bridge into the Bronx, then we get back onto Third Avenue, which takes us from the Bronx into Manhattan. Are you kidding me? Are we still running? Oh my gosh, it's like mind over matter. We got to be crazy. So we go from Madison Avenue onto Fifth Avenue, then into Central Park. What am I doing? Am I insane? Could someone just get us to the finish line? Central Park now seems so huge because we enter, I think it was along 72nd Street on the east side, and you're inside the park, and you got to go all the way down to the southern part of the park, which is like Columbus Circle, and go around that bottom part of the park and back up now the west side all the way up to Central Park West and 72nd Street. I never knew Central Park was that big. But the bottom line is, you know, we get to Central Park West and 72nd Street. Ladies and gentlemen, 4.5 hours after we start, I grabbed my shoulders, my buddy's shoulder as we crossed the finish line. But it was all worth it because by now my stomach is flat and I have lost 10 pounds. Okay. And I'm just doing this video because now it's the end of August. You got September, October. It's the first Sunday in November. And pretty soon we're going to be having the 2018 New York City Marathon. And this is just a way of me encouraging, if anybody, especially if you're a senior, you know, and you're wondering whether you can do it, yes, you can do it. Okay. It's mind over matter. But here's the key. Here's the key. You got to pace yourself. That's what all that training. You got the most important part about the training is developing that pace, which you're going to maintain during the race. You don't want to get into the race and get all excited and run faster than your pace, because then you're going to burn out and you're not going to finish. And that's not a good idea. All right. Okay.